Good morning, everybody. Hi, I'm Charlie Boring, practitioner for today, and thanks for showing up on such a beautiful morning, and we have a beautiful service, and it's going to start. Oh, and if you're new, thanks for coming. And if you want to know about our facilities, we can take you for a walk, or you can get a brochure in the back, but thank you for being here. So we're going to start off with a song by Dalton.
Good morning, everybody. Why don't you stand on up if you feel comfortable? It's a glorious day outside. You probably know this song, and if you don't know it, you will quickly pick it up because it's only got about one little musical idea that circles round and around and around. Stretch on out, establish some space around yourselves. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. That's how it goes. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of love right now, singing I'm choosing love today. Oh, I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of joy right now, singing I'm choosing joy today. I choose compassion today. I choose compassion today. I am walking the road of compassion right now, singing I choose compassion today. Let me hear you sing now. I'm choosing heaven today. Oh, I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. Yes, I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. Yeah.
So now we just need the bouncing ball. Like, anybody remember Mitch Miller? Anyway, so thank you, Dalton. That was wonderful. And so we're going to invite the children up, and we're going to sing them out to church. And at the same time, if you want to turn around and wave to the camera, you know, we're getting quite a few more hits on our live service that's online, and so it's really gratifying to know there's a whole community out there. But, you know, we're also inviting you in, so come on up, children. Thanks. I'd like to thank everyone who showed up early for get the place ready for service. And also, at this point, if you have a device that may go off during service, if you can just silence it, we appreciate that. And then before I forget, I'm going to go a little bit out of order, but if we have any birthdays in October, if you can raise your hand or stand up like Sally, and we'll sing happy birthday. And we have Reverend Sue with a birthday, and me. That was fun. Thank you. So we're going to go into some announcements, and we're going to make these pretty brief because we have a special presentation from Sue in terms of starting off our abundance program. But I'm going to start off with Sharian to talk about our wonderful art classes. And come on up, Sharian. And share anything you want to add. Go for it. She's our biggest advocate.
Good morning, everybody. It's been a while since I've been up here to talk to you about my watercolor classes. The fun part is that we have been painting together, a number of us, for 8 years here at CSL. And it's remarkable to discover this amazing talent that exists. So I just wanted to chat with you. One of the things that folks have been asking me to do, would I offer a class for absolute beginners, those who've not picked up a brush or really even know what to go buy at the store for watercolor painting. So I'm offering a course for absolute watercolors, and it begins... Oh, I've got to check it out here, these dates. October the 16th, and it goes to November the 13th. It's on Monday mornings from 9:30 to 12, and it's for 5 weeks. And you're going to be introduced to absolutely the essentials of everything you need to know about watercolor painting. So don't be afraid. If you've ever thought that you might want to try this out, this is the time to do it. For my ongoing students, and many of them have been with me the whole 8 years, and you would be amazed at the wonderful work they're doing. We've overcome a lot of things about the ego, believe me. So there's two workshops being offered for them on Wednesdays, from 1 to 4:30. So if you have a little bit of experience and you want to join us to those 2 workshops, beginning this Wednesday, actually, please come on down. We're going to be painting fall colors, all the beauties of autumn. So I hope to see you. If you have any questions, there's information on how to contact me. Thank you so much.
And you can also sign up in the back with, I believe Steve's at the board desk. I know I've already committed to the beginners class. So on Monday, so I think that'll be really fun. That's really stepping out of my box, but I look forward to it. Because I draw stick figures, that's all I do. So anyway, I think we have Christy Carr offering a new class starting Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, beginning October 5th. That's this Thursday, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. The Nourishing Our Community, I know you've heard some good updates from Diana and other team members, and all the sign-ups are out there. So that's been extended to October 8th, so next Sunday. So you can still elbow your way in there and up your bids for $2 at a time. But it's really kind of fun to watch the bids go up, and then lots of excitement around it. And then we have Gong Meditation, which is tonight. It's here in the sanctuary. And that's with Joan Richards. And that's a really beautiful time to go into yourself and listen to the gong. And she has a beautiful presentation behind that. So I invite you to join in that. And then we have the Celebration of Life for Frances Bliley. Many of you know her. She was a member of this community from the very beginning, even when we were in the hotels, other side of town. So that's going to be October 7th. It's a Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. So that's going to be a beautiful celebration of life. Next Sunday, Reverend Dr. Mary has an Exploring Membership meeting right after service. Also on October 9th, there'll be the men's group, and then also the Sacred Sisters. I think I got that right. I can feel good now. Okay. And then we have a caregiver support group with Dr. Mary on Thursday, October 12th. So you can talk to her more about that if you have questions. So now I'd like to invite Reverend Sue up to talk about the Abundance Program.
So some of you might have been looking at the awareness and know that this is the time of year that we start to renew our intentional giving to the center for the next year as we prepare our budget. And it's called the Stewardship Program, and the back table where that big eyeball, it looks like, it's supposed to be a daisy, I think. It's a little intimidating when I'm looking at it. But it's got some paperwork on it. You'll get something in the mail as well. And it explains some of our vision for 2024. It explains some of the things we've accomplished with our funds this year. And there's some also, what I wanted to share back there is some affirmations of truth about abundance, because I love our theme this year. It's imagine more than enough. And I speak that for all of you in your lives. Imagine more than enough, always having more than enough, no matter what it is that you need, financial good, health, anything, energy, whatever it is, imagine more than enough. And so I've listed out a few affirmations for you to use throughout the week to help reinforce your own abundance flowing through your life. And there's a small card, if you choose, you can take some time to think about it, but the small card explains it, and you can put your amount that you would like to share with the center and make that commitment, and that helps us plan our budget. And there's also a letter there, and again, you'll be getting these in the mail, but some of you that are on our mailing list. So if you don't think you're on the list, you might want to grab one of these, and it'll explain it more, and it'll make you feel really good about being part of the program and part of our center thriving for many years to come. And to help support that, I've invited two wonderful people to step forward and give sort of a testimony to you as to why they support the center. And that's Reverend Kat and her husband, JB. You guys want to come on up?
Good morning, especially to the great eyeball in the sky. That is intimidating. Yeah. Are we good here? Yes. Okay. I am a steward, a regular giver to this organization, this institution, because I am selfish. For me, there are three basic purposes in life. One is to fully flower in the glory of God so that everyone can enjoy who we are, what we bring to the fullest. There's service to others. And there is God communion or enlightenment or getting to heaven or whatever we want to call it. And this institution is, this church, this community is a very powerful support to me, and I believe to all of us here and to the wider community in doing all of those things. I mean, look at all the opportunities there are to flower, to serve, be in conscious contact with God. There's beading, there's hiking, there's kayaking, there's learning about dreams, there's poetry, there's music, there's gardening, there's shoes for souls, there's learning how to be a better caretaker of others and ourselves. Men's and women's groups, the vital activity of meeting with spiritual mind practitioners to improve our lives in many, many areas. I want this institution to continue. I want it to be fulfilling. Again, I'm selfish. I want this support for my flowering, for my service, and for my God communion. And one of the ways I can do that is by being a regular supporter, a steward. I want to close by reading a couple of things that just go to the heart of the matter for me. The first is the very first spiritual principle of the science of mind, which is oneness. There is one infinite reality. We call it many names, including but not limited to God, life, universal spirit, infinite intelligence, first cause, or the thing itself. The one infinite reality is undivided, complete, and whole within itself, yet it creates everything out of itself. It therefore includes both the absolute and relative, the tangible and intangible, the physical and metaphysical. And practicing this presence is the practice of the principles of oneness, love, and creation to become aware of and experience the one infinite reality. That's what I want in my life. That's why I'm here.
Good morning. So when I arrived this morning and I was coming to sit down, I said hello to Shirley, and Shirley said, "How are you?" And before I could answer, she said, "No, I really mean it." And I was grateful, because I need to be a part of a community where people say, "How are you?" and I can trust that they really mean it. I'm here because I need community to thrive, and I need community both for myself and as part of my service to the world. And I want to be part of a community that I can feel is standing for the oneness of all, the oneness of the divine moving into and through our lives, so I don't have to do that all on my own. Because I can't do that very effectively all on my own. And each of us has ways that we can give and contribute to the world, but we need to be inspired, we need to be renewed, we need to be replenished, and being in community does that. And I'm deeply, deeply grateful to have found this community, which is so centered in God and in love, and to be a part of it. And I'm really grateful that I was able to take 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and tell Shirley how I really am. And that connected me not only to Shirley, but to all of you. Blessings.
Well, there we have it. We can go home now. That was beautiful. Thank you. So I'm going to invite Dalton up to do our reading. Then I'm going to invite the bell 3 times, and during that time period, allow the sound of the bell to go within, deep within, and to contemplate where you are today, and also on your spirituality. And then Shirley will do a spiritual mind treatment, followed by Reverend Sue's talk.
Hello again. The reading this morning is from Thomas Moore from Care of the Soul. It reads, The Greeks told the story of the Minotaur, the bull-headed, flesh-eating man who lived in the center of the labyrinth. He was a threatening beast, and yet his name was Asterion, which means little star. I often think of this paradox as I sit with someone with tears in their eyes, searching for some way to deal with a death, a divorce, or a depression. It is a beast, this thing that stirs in the core of the being, but it is also the star of the innermost nature. We have to care for this suffering with extreme reverence so that, in our fear and anger at the beast, we do not overlook the star. Care of the soul means not taking sides when there is a conflict at a deep level. It may be necessary to stretch the heart wide enough to embrace contradiction and paradox.
Sitting quietly with one another, we contemplate this vast universe and the nature of our oneness with the divine. We see everything around us as a reflection of God's presence. We are surrounded with beauty. The long, hot summer is left, and the first rains have come, and our beautiful fall foliage is beginning to appear. All of this, a sign of divine wisdom and abundance. The grace of God's love finds expression through us in our caring relationships with family, friends, and others. We have faith in the presence and support of Spirit as we aspire to demonstrate love, light, and wisdom in our relationships with all others. We are grateful for God's outpouring of blessings. We may not know what form our good will take, but we do know that the flow of our good is here, awaiting our acceptance and gratitude. And so now we release all worry and negativity as we look forward to the good as it flows through our lives. In gratitude, we release our word to the law, and together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Shirley. And Judy. And you. You guys are important. It's always nice to have an audience. So before I begin this message, I don't know if Charlie, if I can do a whole month of that flower eyeball. It's like, huh? I know it's a sunflower, but it's, I don't know. But anyway. So anyway, what I was saying, there's an important person here in the audience, so you're all important. But this young man is Rob, and he's over here next to Susan, and he could just crawl under the chair right now. But Rob, I met several years ago, online class from Southern California, and he has bonded with so many of you that have been in those classes with Rob up on the TV screen. showering us with incredible heart and wisdom. And he is, I just wanted to have you to know him. Can you just stand up and just say, look how marvelous I am? And yeah, thank you. And I'm pointing him out because he's part of the practitioner class right now. And this is, after this year, he will be complete his study and licensed to be a practitioner. And I wanted you to know who he was because he's from far away, but right here at the same time. That's a paradox. So I have just been overjoyed to have walking this walk with him. And then I also am tickled pink because I see Christy Shaw out there. And I don't want to point to you, but there she is right there, and she's from out here. Anyway, it's just nice. That just shows, I think you both did such a beautiful testimony because the threads of heart connection here in this community go far back. Christy was many, many years ago. We went through all of our classes together, and she stays connected. She's got dear friends here, and that connection, there's something about, Redding gets a bad rap sometimes in the news, nationally, but we know the secret. We know our hearts, and they're collected here, and we nourish one another. So that's why I support this center so passionately, because of that, because of the Christies that show up and the Robs that come into my life. So, and all of you in one moment or another have shared that together. So our talk today is playing with paradox. And I tell you, when I first looked at this, and today's particular message is the paradox mindset. And so I'm going to start off with a quote from Earnest Holmes. And it's, "The riddle of the universe is a paradox. The question is its own answer. For the mind that asks the question is also of the mind with a capital M that answers it." So at first I really balked at this topic. I thought, who can I get to speak every Sunday? But the more I dove into it, I started to realize that I was living in a paradox right there in itself, because I wanted to avoid trying to explain this even to myself altogether and not do it. But then I relaxed into the wisdom the more I dove in. And I hope that some of that is contagious to you, because I became so much in awe, moments of awe that just kept me still for a moment, like riddles can, or Zen koans can. These moments that we get still and we just sit in the question. So with that, as I've studied and I continue to study and invest myself in spirituality, I have been asking myself, is there just one more book, just one more class? Maybe I need one more treatment, one more prayer, just one more thing I need to get fully invested, totally embodying this idea of oneness, the exact thing that J.B. brought up in his little message to you. Because I have that deep longing in my life to embrace that idea in 100% at a soul level. And yet there's a mini-me inside that sometimes fights it, resists it, and argues with it, blames and shames me for not living up to the idea. And then I think, maybe I'm just a phony on this path. Because there's situations in life that continue to trigger my heart into discontent and sorrow, and I find myself there. And then I feel like, well, I'm really not one with that other. And I sit with that, and I name it as the moment of my struggle, and that's a paradox in itself. So I don't know about you, if you have those moments, but the realization is constantly before me to try to find that way to embrace all the interference of the contradictory ideas and beliefs the perspectives in this world that are placed before me, and they make me crazy. They make me feel crazy and inadequate, and I just want to shut down. I just want to go take a nap. I just want to forget about it all and maybe just totally zone out. And I would hope it was a 12-week TV series that I could just stare at and eat popcorn. And these moments, but the reality is you have to turn the TV off and you have to face life. So I don't like to feel like I have to take a side in life. And then there's other times where it overwhelms me and I don't even feel like showing up. So I don't know if you've experienced a taste of any of those heartfelt moments in your own life. But as I started going deeper then into this idea of paradox, I found a great sense of comfort, a great sense of realization that we're all in this together, of course. But if we are bold enough to live what is called the paradox mindset, then we've created a spaciousness of consciousness to hold the many diverse ideas and the perspectives in the world in that present moment, where we are feeling the charge of anything, where we witness something, and then we sit with it instead of blocking off, instead of twirling in the mind of our own head. We find a new way. We see the potentiality of solution. We find what I see. We find then one another. We find one another. And I think that's the most beautiful invitation of the paradox mindset. Because we find one another. We find God. We find Brahman. We find nature. We find spirit. We find love. We find truth. Whatever you want to name that as yours. So Albert Einstein says, the closer we get to truth, the more it looks like a paradox. So we seek absolute truth, and we find many, many versions of truth. We also find ourselves longing to feel the nature of the divine, to fill our cup with the mercy and the grace and the healing of the presence. But at the same time, find comfort. We can find comfort in our daily rituals, in our ordinary life. We can find that comfort by eating popcorn and watching TV. As Jack Kornfield reminds us, if you've never read his book, After the Ecstasy, the Laundry. It's a beautiful book of how he can have such a powerful mystical experience. And then it can follow, a depression can follow that when suddenly it's not there and you wonder where it went. So if you have curiosity about that, I recommend that book. But the wisdom of Earnest Holmes, let's look at this. He helped shape our way through paradox because of paradox can cause us to stumble at times on our path. So his quote, we need to develop a good-natured flexibility. Nature demands this. For if the tree did not bend before the wind, it would break. We are apt to hold our thought so static that it finally becomes a habit which destroys not only our mental happiness, but also the spiritual influx. What we must avoid, however, is the confusion that arises from a belief in a final revelation, from the belief that all truth is at last discovered, or that some one person or one single system of thought has delivered the final and the last word. There are no finalities in any science, any philosophy, or any religion, so we can relax. The answer is going to keep changing. So you can relax and just be in the presence. So by choosing to work towards playing with paradox versus resisting it, fighting it, we begin to allow ourselves to be informed. Something here is asking me to have a greater, broader understanding. We can relax in knowing there will never be just one way to look at the matters of life. And oftentimes we can feel like we're being dragged in two different directions at the same time and feel stressed and uptight instead of peaceful and enlightened. When Earnest Holmes invites us then to consider that good-natured flexibility, we can intuitively sense that this conflict that we might feel rising on the horizon just might be that which is leading us to a greater understanding and a healing and a benefit for all concerned. So embracing the paradox versus rejection leads to creative potentiality. That's the paradox mindset. So think like Einstein. The closer you get to truth, the more it looks like paradox. One mind can't fit it all together in a logical, linear way. And that's what we sometimes try to make happen if we're just looking at mind. Because at times, here's a paradox. It's all true, and none of it's true. Not very helpful, is it? Everyone is entitled to their truth, and we try to respect that, but our truth contradicts their truth. What is right for me isn't necessarily right for you. So, we take it away from spirituality. We can certainly see it in diets. When people say, raw food, that's the only way to go. Next person say, no, keto. No. Just eat what you want. That's fine. So we look at this and we realize no one thing anywhere is the same for all. So we have to individualize what our truths are. So by learning to accept paradox now as a spiritual practice and not a challenge, that we ask deeper questions now. We look into what is challenging us, things that we took for granted, and we say, well, now what's true? Now what's true here for me? And I'm not going to rely on my brain mind to figure it all out, because I know my heart is much, much wiser. So you allow it to drop into the heart. You allow yourself to breathe and to meditate and to sit with your experience in the heart, knowing the wise nature of our heart to help settle the mind into accepting paradox it is, and it will quit fighting it. Once you quit fighting it, the mind gets very quiet. So you allow your heart to listen, and this is the portal to the eternal self. Your heart is knowing what to embrace. The heart knows that both opposites can be true. The mind will wrestle with that. It'll wrestle with it for a while until it gets very, very grumpy, but the heart will quietly respond, yes, and now this is what is. So you look to your heart for the truth, and you feel an energy then. Something is true, and you feel it in your heart, and the mind will try to keep arguing and changing it. But there's one message that I learned while I was exploring this, and this came from Cynthia Breeze in her blog and writing about paradox. And she said, let's let go of the need to find the truth, so to speak, because the truth, in a way, keeps changing. There's one truth that remains the same and really is the truth. Consciousness is here. God is consciousness. Consciousness is here, everywhere. Consciousness is everywhere and in every perspective. That's true. So everything else is open to interpretation as to whether it is true or not true. So you might be saying, well, I kind of going along here, sort of, but what does paradox even mean? And a paradox is two seemingly opposite things that seem impossible, but are actually both true. And I think I've touched upon that. And that's what Zen koans, that's the kind of thing that a Zen koan can take us to. And the harder you think about it, the more you can get lost inside. So you approach it through, again, intuition, which is heart speaking, and acceptance. And part of a very mature and wise approach to all of this is that acceptance that you really don't control anything anyway, right? So you can still allow this sense of powerlessness that can trap you when you try to struggle too much in a paradox, can lead you to a sense of feeling just apathy then. Well, then don't do anything at all. But let's break it down, because it's all a call. It's all a call for you to just live in harmony and in love with one another. The word paradox means, para means contrary to, and the dox means opinion. So contrary to opinion. We got light, dark, yin, yang, right, wrong. You have to have money to make money. All of these are paradoxes. So this mindset is inviting us to hold and consider two opposing ideas at the same time. Instead of stressing then, we hold them. Here it is. Instead of stressing on them because they're opposing each other. So we step into that paradoxical thinking. We let go of controlling our thinking, and we open to an inevitability that can allow more creativity and flexibility and production and deepening our understanding to humanity at large. It's a beautiful moment. Now, you might be squirming in your consciousness like I did during the week with some of this, but because there's sticky things, there's sticky and personal things that we come up that we really want to anchor into, and we don't want to play with the paradox theory in those situations. But if you just relax into it, that's the message today. Everyone, every situation we're experiencing is meant to be part of your spiritual journey, of your awakening. So we can allow and testify to that, to just take a breath in those moments. I love the idea that we're always free. We're always free to choose. But also those choices don't secure you a free pass. So you're never free from the consequences of your choices. That could be good news or bad news, but that is the universal paradox. So you are free to choose, but you're not free from the consequences of a choice. And I didn't make that one up. So another term to get used to this month comes from, was pointed out and presented to me by the author of some of this material, and her name is Reverend Chris Ashley, and she's from the center in Virginia. But it's called Janusian thinking. How many people know what that is, Janusian thinking? You might know what it is, and I'm just butchering the word. But that Greek god that has a face here and a face back there, you know that sculpture that's really bizarre and weird? So if I looked to here and I turned there and my same face was there, kind of freak you out. That's the Janus, the Roman god of transitions, duality, time, beginnings, endings, gateways, and doorways, and on and on. So there's a psychiatrist named Albert Rothenberg that coined this term, Janusian thinking, to describe the paradox mindset. He invites us to look at thinking as the practice of actively conceiving and using multiple opposites of thoughts and constructions simultaneously to solve a problem. Now that does sound like a philosophical course, but if we really think about what he's saying, if we have these two heads or two faces on one head looking at us at a challenge, this kind of thinking allows us to open up to finding one solution between the two. We open ourselves to multiple possibilities, multiple ways of thinking, shifting from a limited, smaller, confined perspective into a world of ideas and possibilities that we might never have considered. So we'll talk about that term more throughout the month. But there was a paradox that a philosopher named Richard Freeman said, "I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned." So I'm going to, just in closing, I'm going to share a few. There's another blog that I looked up, and his name is Sahil, and he lists what he came up with life's paradoxes. And I'm just going to read you some that I thought were particularly pertinent to us. He called it the wisdom paradox. The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. Yeah? Sometimes I'm like, I'm 71. How did I get here and not know that? You know, and I've been listening to myself lately going, I didn't know that. And it's just so daunting. How many other things don't I know? You know, I want to do over, God. I want to start over. I want to start over my learning. But he says, the more you learn, the more you are exposed to the immense unknown. That's beautiful. He said, this should be empowering, not frightening. Embrace your own ignorance and embrace lifelong learning. Isn't that comforting? And another one that he shares is the news paradox. Oh, a grumble goes through the crowd. The more news you consume, the less well-informed you are. A good one. Isn't that a good one? And he said, they talk about it being the noise bottleneck. More data leads to a higher noise to signal ratio, so you end up knowing less about what is actually going on. Interesting. Want to know more about the world? Turn off the news. That was his solution there. Then another one that I found charming, the shrinking paradox. In order to grow, sometimes you need to shrink. Growth is never linear. Shedding dead weight may feel like a step back, but it is a necessity for long-term growth. 1 step back, 2 steps forward is a recipe for long-term success. The say no paradox. Take on less. This one's for me. I'm going to just turn my head, that Medusian head. Take on less and accomplish more. Success doesn't come from taking on everything that comes your way. It comes from focus, deep focus on the tasks that really matter. Say yes to what matters and no to what doesn't. Protect your time. It's a gift to be cherished. And then, let's see, the talking paradox. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. If you want your words and ideas to be heard, start by talking less and listening more. You'll find more power in your words. Talk less to be heard more. And 2 more, the looking paradox. You may have to stop looking in order to find what you are looking for. Have you ever noticed that when you're looking for something, you rarely can find it? What's so-and-so's name? I don't know. I'm looking for it. Now I can't think of that person's name. And then if they had just come into the room, you could say, hey, hello, blah, blah. So stop looking, and what you're looking for just finds you. Applies to love, business, investing, and life. And finally, the control paradox. More controlling, less control. We've all experienced this as parents, as children, but the most controlling often end up with the least control. Humans are wired for independence. Any attempt to counter that will be met with resistance. So, those are a few. I challenge you to think about this week as you're living your life and doing your spiritual practices. You know, what is showing up in your life in the paradox mindset. Carl Jung leaves us with the paradox as one of our most valued spiritual possessions. Only the paradox comes anywhere near to comprehending the fullness of life. I think that's just such a beautiful statement to help us release our suffering from fighting what is to being with what is, but being with what is with love. So, the final paradox, you'll like this one from Socrates, and you can use it. I know one thing, that I know nothing. Okay, Socrates. You use that this week if anybody's trying to stump you in anything on your spiritual journey. But let's join together in the oneness. Because here we feel the oneness. I want you to relax right now and notice that you have caught up with yourself. You're nowhere else but here. Feel yourself in your body. Remember the divinity that is ever flowing in you as you. Feel this oneness. When you recognize God is and I am, this is oneness. So today we take the music of this day, we take the reading, the message, the testimonies, we take it all and we hold it dear and we allow it to feed ourselves throughout the week, knowing that we have this center here to rely on, to come back and to help answer our questions and soothe our souls. We recognize that we can have refuge here, to be still and quiet and to be heard and to be the one that's listening. So much is happening here. So much is taking place. And it's because of our humanity and our willingness and our open-heartedness and our gratitude as we embrace one another. Even if our conversations go off script and we feel challenged in those moments, we put love first and we breathe love and we let go into knowing that as we allow God to speak through us, all is well, all is good, all is healed. So I give thanks for this community. My years and years upon years of being here with all of you, I am so incredibly grateful. Sometimes I want to hide, but then I know I always show up because love leads the way. So I release this treatment prayer knowing that we all carry it in some form or some way in our heart, and it is revealed to us a greater way of understanding. So I release these words, and together we say, and so it is. Thank you. The one thing that we shared at the, thank you, Judy, at the autumn equinox was one of my favorite little blessings that came, and it was at the closing of our ceremony. But think about this, because we're in a tree fall, and the trees are about to show us how lovely it is to let things go. So thank you. And I appreciate the music now. Dalton.
This song is drawn from a quotation from Earnest Holmes, so I hope you enjoy. You can look for God in a church or synagogue and listen to someone's monologue. If you read the right book, you may find a clue, but it's somebody else's point of view. You can take every course at the university but it won't reveal your own divinity. If you'll only open your heart and look inside, it's true. You'll see that God is in there smiling back at you. Spirit is the shaker within, not an old man from a myth. What you're looking for, you're looking with. You can read the Bhagavad Gita and the Tao Te Ching, the Bible, the Quran, and everything. You can study the lives of Confucius and Christ, Mohammed and Buddha and the Israelites, and you'll gain a lot of wisdom and you'll fill up your bookshelf. But you still need to have that experience for yourself. If you'll only open your heart and look inside, it's true. You'll see that God is in there smiling back at you. Spirit is the sinker within, not an old man from a myth. What you're looking for, you're looking with. What you're looking for, you're looking with. You can ask those people that you meet as you go through life, your father, your mother, your husband or wife, but the answers that they bring won't satisfy, even if you ask till the day that you die. It's a question we all must ponder on our own. It's remembering what your heart has always known. If you'll only open your heart and look inside, it's true. You'll see that God is in there smiling back at you. Spirit is the sinker within, not an old man from a myth. What you're looking for, you're looking with. What you're looking for, you're looking with. What you're looking for, you're looking with.
Thank you, Dalton. I'd like to invite the ushers up. So please join with me as we prepare for the offertory that there is just one God, one mind, one love, everywhere present, and it's also infinite prosperity. Prosperity for the center, prosperity for each individual here, as it flows through each of us in its own unique and most beautiful way. And so I claim for today that the gifts given to this center is used with the utmost care and love as we allow these gifts to help this center grow and prosper and become the light in this community that is waiting to be shown and for everyone to show up. So we know that this is a wonderful place and your gifts are well received. So I give thanks and I release these words, and together we say, and so it is.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, on forward, ushers. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So on behalf of everyone here, I just claim that we are so blessed and that this center is so blessed. So giving thanks for the gifts given, we just allow these to work and come back full circle for each and every one of us and for this center. So giving thanks, I release this prayer of gratitude, and together we say, and so it is. So Sue's going to come up after the final song to do a wrap-up, but I just wanted to say, be sure to check out the social hall to visit with folks. And if there's somebody new and you want to introduce yourself, feel free to do so. And then also check with the board desk for any signups. And then the table for the animal, the eyeball. I'm going to have to get a new balloon, I think, because we really do appreciate the stewardship program. And like Sue said, and as many have said, it allows us to budget and plan. And we like to do this with prosperity in mind and think of new things for this center as we grow and become that spiritual light for this community. So, Dalton, we're going to have you do a final song, and then Sue will come up. Thank you.
All righty, everybody who feels comfortable, please stand on up. It is gorgeous outside. The heat has left us at long last. This is a call and response song. You know it well. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free. May I be free. May my friends be happy. May my friends be peaceful. May my friends be free. May they be free. If anyone has hurt me, I now freely forgive. If I have hurt anybody, may they forgive me now. May they forgive me now. May my enemies be happy. May my enemies be peaceful. May my enemies be free. May my enemies be free. May they be free. If anyone has hurt me, I now freely forgive. If I have hurt anybody, may they forgive me now. I forgive myself right now. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. May they be free. May we all be free. May we all be free. May we all be, what's that word? Free.
Thank you, Dalton. That's always one of my favorites. That's a paradoxical song in itself. So thank you all, and I do really value the energy that you all bring, each with your own stuff. You come here, and I know in quiet heart space you're pouring it out, and you're sorting through, and you're finding your way, and you're healing. So may you be happy, and may you be free of all of that burden, and walk out of here knowing who you are. So blessings of love forever through this week and forevermore. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.